Today, we are going to talk about a very important and worrying global problem: the rapid rise in obesity around the world. This talk is based on a large scientific study published in leading medical journals like JAMA, looking at trends from 1990 until today and what is expected to happen by the year 2035. But I want to make this very clear. This presentation is not for doctors. It is not full of medical jargon. It is for everyday people, families, parents, grandparents, teachers, anyone who wants to understand what is happening to our bodies and our children's health. We will explain the science in simple language and, more importantly, what it means for real life. Let us first look at the big picture. In 1990, about 1 in 5 adults in the United States was obese. By 2022, this had already risen to more than 4 in 10 adults. And based on large scientific projections published in leading medical journals, by the year 2035, almost 1 in 2 adults in the US may be living with obesity. This is not a small change. This is not a slow drift. This is a dramatic and rapid rise within one generation. What is especially concerning is that this is not just about body weight. Obesity is closely linked with diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, joint problems, sleep apnea, and even dementia risk later in life. So when we say nearly 1 in 2 adults, we are really talking about a future where half the population may be living with preventable chronic disease. This is why understanding why this is happening is so important, and that is what we will explore in the next slides. The first major reason obesity is rising is that the world we eat in today is completely different from the world our parents and grandparents grew up in. Food is no longer just food. It is now highly engineered product. Ultra-processed foods are cheap, convenient, designed to taste extremely good, available everywhere, all the time. These foods are usually high in sugar, refined starches, industrial seed oils, and many additives that increase flavor, shelf life, and texture. Portion sizes has also become much larger, and we now live in a snacking culture where eating from morning to night is considered normal. Perhaps most importantly, modern foods are scientifically designed to stimulate the brain's reward system. They are made to be hard to stop eating, not because we are weak, but because the food itself is engineered to override natural appetite control. So the problem is not simply lack of willpower. The food environment itself has changed in a way that strongly promotes overeating and fat storage. This sets the stage for the hormone disturbances and metabolic problems we will talk about in the next few slides. The second major reason obesity is rising is that our bodies simply move much less than they were designed to. In the past, daily life itself involved movement, walking to work, manual jobs, housework, climbing steps, playing outdoors. Today, many of us sit at desks, drive instead of walk, use lifts instead of stairs, spend hours in front of screens. This applies not only to adults, but also to children who now spend more time sitting than any generation before them. When movement goes down, body uses fewer calories, and more importantly, the muscles become less sensitive to insulin. This makes it easier for sugar and fat to be stored rather than burned. So it is not just about burning calories. Less movement changes how our hormones work and how our body handles food. Modern life is comfortable, but biologically it is very different from the environment our bodies evolved for. This mismatch between our biology and our lifestyle is one of the key drivers of the obesity epidemic. The third major reason obesity is rising is that modern lifestyle disrupts the body's hormone system. Weight is not controlled by willpower alone. It is largely controlled by hormones. When we eat frequently, especially foods high in sugar and refined carbohydrates, insulin stays high. High insulin tells the body to store fat and makes it harder to release it. Leptin is the hormone that tells the brain, I am full, I have enough energy stored. In obesity, the brain becomes resistant to leptin, so even when the body has plenty of fat, and the brain behaves as if it is starving. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. With poor sleep, stress, and irregular eating, ghrelin stays high, so people feel hungry even when they do not need more energy. Cortisol, the stress hormone, also rises with poor sleep and chronic pressure. High cortisol pushes the body towards fat storage, especially around the abdomen. So obesity is not simply about eating too much and moving too little. It's about a hormonal environment that constantly pushes the body towards hunger, fat storage, and reduced energy use. This is why many people feel they are fighting their own body when they try to lose weight. The fourth major factor driving obesity today is chronic stress combined with poor sleep. Many people now live under constant pressure. Work deadlines, financial worries, family responsibilities, and information overload. At the same time, we are exposed to bright screens late into the night, which disrupts our natural sleep rhythm and reduces the quality and duration of sleep. When we are stressed and sleep deprived, the body produces more cortisol, the main stress hormone. High cortisol encourages fat storage, especially around the abdomen, increases appetite, makes cravings for comfort foods and sugary foods much stronger. A tired brain always looks for fast energy. It naturally seeks sugar and refined carbohydrates because they give quick, short-term relief, even though they worsen the long-term problem. So again, this is not a failure of character or discipline. It is a predictable biological response to modern stress and sleep deprivation. When stress hormones are high and sleep is poor, the body is hormonally programmed to store fat and seek high energy foods. The fifth factor is that our social and physical environment strongly shapes our eating and activity habits. In many neighborhoods, especially in busy cities or lower income areas, access to fresh, unprocessed food is limited. Fast food and packaged foods are often the easiest, cheapest, and most visible options. At the same time, junk food is heavily marketed on television, on social media, and even to children. These messages constantly stimulate appetite and normalize frequent snacking and sugary treats. Modern urban design also means that there are fewer safe and pleasant spaces for walking, cycling, and outdoor play. This affects both adults and children. Finally, our culture has changed. Large portions, constant eating, sugary drinks, have become normal. Celebrations, comfort, stress relief, and socializing are all centered around food. So people are not making choices in a neutral environment. They are making choices in a world that continuously pushes them forward towards overeating and inactivity. When biology, hormones, stress, sleep, and environment all point in the same direction, the result is the global rise in obesity we are now witnessing. I would like to finish this section with one very important message. Obesity is not a moral failing. It is not a lack of discipline. It is not a weakness of character. It is a biological response to a modern environment that disrupts our hormones, our sleep, our appetite control, and our natural movement. When people live in a world of ultra-processed food, constant stress, poor sleep, and little movement, their bodies respond exactly as biology predicts, with increased hunger, fat storage, and difficulty in losing weight. The good news is, when we understand the real causes, we can prevent it, and in many cases, we can even reverse it. Knowledge removes blame. Knowledge replaces guilt with understanding, and knowledge gives people the power to make changes that work with their biology, not against it. This is the purpose of this talk, not to judge, but to educate, to empower, and to give hope. In part 2, our next talk, we will talk about how to reduce obesity. Simple steps the general public can take to lose weight, based on science, not influences. Thank you for watching.